Welcome to my realm. I'm Tami Jorden, and this is Butterfly Days, the podcast that proves you're not past your prime, you're living in it right now, because women don't have expiration dates. Butterfly Days is a celebration of the extraordinary potential of GenX and Boomer women. Throughout history, women have shared wisdom to uplift and empower one another, and you're about to learn hard-earned wisdom and best-kept secrets from interesting, inspiring women. So if you're ready to embrace your butterfly season with confidence, find joy in the present, and create a legacy that matters, you're in the right place. No more holding back. Let's spread our wings now. Here we go. Welcome to my realm. This is Tami Jorden, and you're listening to Butterfly Days. This episode, Stronger, Wiser, Bolder. We survived the 80s and 90s to soar now. I can't unsee it. In uncovering the issues of Gen X and Boomer women, I've been horrified by toxic thinking about age that we daily encounter. Ageism is insidious in a culture that worships youth. It's broadly unacknowledged as a problem. Because of youth worship, we grew up with surging anorexia and bulimia rates, having heard many external messages about our bodies, and I want to be clear, we determine their value. Listen, we have the right to look how we want with creams, potions, surgeries, hair, whatever. Arguably, you're your own masterpiece. The toxicity of ageism is the underlying belief that you need to look young and act young to have value. You know, I'm not a shiny thing anymore. Okay, that part was fun. But my life now is richer than it's ever been, which disproves ageism. I've lived through some stuff, honey, and I'm seasoned and still hungry for more. My life has made me stronger, wiser, and bolder, and I'm rejecting shame for being my age. But oddly, that's not always easy because of me. Yeah, cue Taylor Swift. Here's a great pivot my 50s brought that helped me keep appreciating my age. I became acutely aware of my self-talk, the story running in my mind, and how it was everything. I realized the way I talked to myself and how I looked at things was impacting me probably far more than what actually happened. And that kind of hacked me off and freaked me out to realize. Then it dawned on me how empowering it is that I could reinterpret what happened. I was actually bullying myself with my thoughts. I needed to admit aging wasn't entirely awful. I now choose to believe I still have plenty in the tank, and that belief alone keeps me vital. It fuels my creativity because, at our core, humans are creators, and it's immensely powerful to see ourselves as the artist or the architect of our life story. Mastering how I interpret my life gave me space to even see my past differently. I finally have the power to understand my story from a broader, wiser perspective, and that has changed everything. At this age, I look back at things that were painful or disastrous, and my wiser self allows more grace for everyone involved. Okay, mostly me. This released long-held pain totally improved my quality of life. I could finally respect how I overcame the challenges and misjudgments, and I stopped condemning myself for mistakes that I thought at the time were ruinous. Listen, I'm a work in progress, but I'm proud of how I rose again from the ashes. Added bonus, I'm now less judgmental of others. We have so much power at this stage, sisters, and most of it lies right between our ears. Clarity grants potential to evolve into the best version of ourselves. Only we can ensure that our past never defines us. No one else can free us from our own mind. Sometimes I know unspeakable things happen to people, and I'm by no means saying that's to be excused or glossed over. Just that it's helpful to frame our past in ways that allow us to be stronger. One of the greatest gifts of midlife is to be able to reassess any idea or assumption and make sure it still makes sense given our current wisdom. Many of us are walking around with ideas from decades ago, and we got to ditch those unfruitful paradigms. So here's my super helpful exercise to pivot into a more empowered mode when I'm frustrated by a sticky problem. I review what I think is happening, and then I keep challenging myself. Is that really true? Is that all there is to see here? In other words, is there another possible answer, solution, or perspective here? Full disclosure, this will make you so mad at first, but keep going. If there is, see what happens when you consider it. This is the game changer, I promise. So ask yourself things like, is it possible he doesn't intend to be mean? Is there any chance that if I just let them do that, we could all survive the fallout? What if the reason she keeps accusing you of ill will is because that's how she would act? And this is my favorite, especially when catastrophizing. What if this actually works out? Then what? What if even this moment is somehow leading me where I was meant to go? Great questions to add when you're trying to process. Daring to think outside the box is incredibly healing. Be aware that after 50, we've learned enough to create fairly decent running patterns to make thinking faster. These assumptions are fairly effective, and that's why we use them. But I want to remind you, only by challenging ourselves with new perspectives will we continue to develop the inner muscles of vitality. There's a lot of focus on keeping body muscles strong until later life, but I think the missing gap for long-term health is keeping our emotional and mental muscles strong by challenging what we think we know. We do not have to perpetrate ageism. They say that living well is the best revenge, but I say it's how Gen X and Boomer babes will lead the way. There's so much good about who we are now. This is our moment to shine. We have the power to recraft our stories so we're not the victims. What happened to us didn't end us. The wisdom we earned one idiot choice or one lucky break at a time has made us strong enough to look back and claim our power. That's the argument against ageism. So let it be known, nobody puts baby in a corner. And remember, I'm rooting for you. Thank you for listening to this episode of Butterfly Days. You can have these sent magically to you each week by signing up at tamijorden.substack.com. That's TAMIJORDEN.substack.com. I can't wait to share the next episode with you and your friends as we, Gen X and Boomer babes, redefine what it means to be a wise woman in our world today. I'm so grateful you listened to this episode. I hope it was a real value to you. If there's a sister in your life who needs this message, please share it, just like women have done to lift each other up over the centuries and across cultures. Women lifting each other is so important. It's why I do this work. And to avoid FOMO and keep up leveling your own life, make sure you don't miss the next episode. You may be losing hormones, but your life has given you powerful perspective. And I believe you have something to give that no one else does, that the world needs. So remember, I'm rooting for you. Let's go.